Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the School of S.H.R.E.D. This is the show that's brought to you by the School of S.H.R.E.D Online Health Academy, where we help you relearn and rediscover holistic health and fitness. Today, we're going to be talking about the Recovery Vault, School of S.H.R.E.D. So I told you a couple weeks ago that we were going to do one episode on each of the 5 training vaults that's available to you at the School of S.H.R.E.D Online Health Academy. So we've gone over spirit, we've gone over habitat, and then today we're going to get into recovery. So all 5 of those modules spell S.H.R.E.D, so you can shred your day and get better in every way. So today we're going to talk about recovery. Throw a flex emoji in the comments as you jump on here. Let me know where you're at, where you're located from, and we're going to get into this training here, this live training event. So shows here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on all these hot social outlets. Shout out to all these social outlets for getting me the opportunity to be able to reach people. And then we also have Spotify and iTunes where you can take the show on the go. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it today. So the Recovery Vault is the 3rd training module and the 3rd training vault at the School of S.H.R.E.D Online Health Academy. Like I said, there's 5. There's spirit, habitat, recovery, exercise, and diet. And those are basically the 5 courses that I cover within the Online Health Academy. And so today what I want to do is go over, kind of break recovery into 3 different sectors, 3 different compartments. So to help kind of give you a bigger visual of how you could increase your recovery efforts so you have more energy, power, and production inside of your life. Because that's what recovery really does for us. It allows us to recover from exercise so we have more energy. If you've worked out for any period of time, you probably know that if you work out too hard, too long, for too long, meaning weeks back to back, or even one workout where you get a really hard workout in, and you're very sore, you'll notice it kills your energy levels. And so recovery becomes very important, specifically important when we're talking about long-term results, when we want to get in shape and stay in shape. And we're looking for this longevity, which is what my programs are all based around. My programs are not based around a short-term fix. It's more of long-term education is what the School of S.H.R.E.D is all about. And so, like I said, this vault at the school is all about hacking your rest, your regeneration, your recovery. So when we want to look at what is recovery comprised of? There's 3 things that I like to look at that just kind of come natural to me as far as breaking things down. We have rest, we have nutrition, and we have exercise. Okay, so we have rest, nutrition, and exercise. So rest, we have 7 to 9 hours. Okay, we're looking for a cool, dark room, and we want 15 to 30-minute power naps. Okay. If possible, and then meditation and mindfulness, which is stress and relaxation. So hold on a second. In the middle of the show, we got dogs wrestling. Sorry. All right. So anyway, back to it. This is what happens when you shoot these things live. You don't really have a choice if you got roughhousing going on. So where was I at? I was at meditation and mindfulness. So that is going to be stress management. So that's a big part of recovery and optimizing recovery is having something in your day that's mindful, that helps you manage stress. And if we want to get into this, see, it might sound like somebody just encouraging you to do hobbies, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what do hobbies do? What do things that actually relax us do? This comes back to this physiological response of reducing cortisol levels, reducing physiological stress. If we reduce psychological stress, it reduces physiological stress. Those two are tied. So doing things that are fun, that make you laugh, that have you in the moment, have you in that flow state, they're not so, to use this word again that I use all the time, they're not so woo-woo. They actually have a physiological effect on your body and help you manage your stress. And this is part of recovery. And so this is something to consider. Breathing techniques that you can learn through meditation also help stress management a drastic amount, help you recover. Because really, at its core, what I break recovery down into is managing the fight or flight and the rest and digest response, right? We have two main points in our autonomic nervous system. Okay, we have two dominant states. We have the fight or flight, and then we have the rest and digest. So with rest and digest, we're basically looking at spike in growth hormone, cortisol is coming down. Cortisol is a stress hormone, epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are adrenaline and noradrenaline. Those guys are fight or flight hormones. Those guys come down. So we're basically soothing our body. So meditation, mindfulness is great. Like I said, 15 to 30-minute power naps is great for the rest side of the house. The next thing is nutrition. So nutrition is another great recovery tactic. You have anti-inflammatory diet, so a diet that is comprised of whole foods, antioxidants, which help the oxidative stress that happens with exercise, and overall stress. You can find those things in things like berries. Vitamin C is in all sorts of different fruit. So fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, all that good stuff, and exploring what is best for you. So as far as food groups are concerned, not every deemed healthy food is healthy for everybody. All right. We're going to have a big gradient there on a case-by-case basis. So, some people might do really well with red potatoes in their diet. Some people might not. Some people might do really well with oranges in their diet. Some people might actually get inflamed from that. It can happen. So just because a food is a whole food doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you and where you're at right now. Now, on the whole, it's probably a lot better than most. But just saying, from having clients who have had allergens tests and food sensitivities and whatnot, I've been very surprised in the past when clients come to me with some of these food sensitivities. But that brings us to our next point with the recovery part of nutrition, which is gut health centered nutrition. So a lot of that comes down to gut dysbiosis. And so when you don't have gut health, where your microbiome is a little bit messed up and you have some poor health going on there, that is when you start to become a bit inflamed to certain foods. So foods that we would usually call healthy, they're not so healthy for you. They might cause inflammation. So case in point, I've had clients who couldn't handle cheese, even like raw milk cheese, or things that are a little bit easier to absorb or digest. And when we fix their gut health, they're able to handle them again. So gut health-centered nutrition helps with systemic chronic inflammation. And when we get that down, that helps the recovery efforts. So the next thing is hydration. So we want to be hydrated. Our muscles are 70% water, roughly around there, 70% water, obviously give or take how many carbohydrates you're having, how much glycogen you got. But there's a tremendous amount of water in our body that we need to function optimally and to recover from exercise. So that's the nutrition side. So we've gone over rest and we've gone over nutrition. The last thing is exercise. So we can actually utilize exercise to increase our recovery. And the way that we do that is we can periodize our workout intensity. All right. So if you're working out for, you have a specific rep range, specific weekly volume for, say, a month or 2 months, maybe it's hard charging, you're working out 5 or 6 days a week. You're doing, say 15 sets overall for your whole workout. You're going to want to have times where you kick back. Some people who train super hard, a deload is necessary, where you do about 60% of the overall workload for 1 week and allow your nervous system to totally recover. But periodizing is really a lot less important for the average Joe than I think it gets a lot of credit for. You just roughly look at your overall plan. Are you training harder right now, or are you not training harder? If you pull back on your training just a little bit for a week or two, this can allow for you to recover, and then that way you can recharge and regenerate. So then you get the gains from training, but then you can get that energy back, so you can hit another what we would call mesocycle of training, where you get into training hard again. So periodizing your workout intensity. Like I said, you have to get super scientific with it unless you're an Olympic athlete or you have a reason that you need to be doing a spreadsheet like you're a power lifter or something like that. But for the most part, people just they don't need to be concerned about that. Just generally speaking, trying to change your workout routine up every so often can help you recover, but then also get the gains that you want, because when you recover, you can train harder, so you can go back into a harder training cycle. So like 4 to 6 weeks is a good example of that. And then you pull back a little bit for a week or two, and then you go ahead and do that again. Good training and recovery is going to go kind of in this like arc. It doesn't just go straight up. You don't just get stronger and bigger and all that. You have to take times where you kind of decompress and pull back. So and this is, we've talked about this before, which is giving yourself the latitude of sometimes if you're feeling burnt out, just, have a second plan, have a maintenance program. Have something that's a little bit easier to do. If you find yourself at a lack of motivation, you might just need some recovery. You might need to rest more. You might need better nutrition and to just heal your body. Because one thing is if you're a go-getter and you're really into working out, you've got the life-changing benefits of it. You're into it. You're seeing results. The one thing is you can run the risk of doing too much. And then that can cause that need, to heal the body and just to rest. So periodizing your workout intensity is very important. The next thing is train at your force tolerance. So if you're training outside of your force tolerance, now a lot of people think that you need to, the more the merrier. Not necessarily so. There is a diminishing returns effect. So if you are training just outside of your force tolerance, then that can be seen as a good thing depending on who it is, right? Some people, if they train outside of their force tolerance, they're going to have joint pain and they're going to suffer. A lot of the clients that I train in person who need personalized, customized stuff. But, if you're somebody who's younger, you want to burn fat, you want to gain muscle, training just outside of your force tolerance, because that's all it takes to elicit change and to elicit this upgrade to your machinery, to elicit hypertrophy. You don't have to train 50% above where you need to grow. That doesn't work out. All that's going to happen there is going to be excessively sore. You could do damage to the passive tissues. You could do damage to your joints because you're doing too much, where the muscles are going to bail out when they can, and you're going to compensate through your movements. So the best thing to do here is to train at your force tolerance or slightly above it, and have those times where you pull back. So it's kind of like periodizing your workout intensity, but it's worth mentioning because everything comes down to force tolerance. It's just like sun tolerance. If you're to go out in the sunshine, the beautiful sunshine that we have here in the Seattle, Washington area here in December, if you're to go out in the sunshine, you're going to hit a tipping point where you start to burn, right? So up until that point, you're getting benefits of the sun. You're getting the vitamin D benefits. You're going to get a little bit darker if you do it repeatedly day after day to a point that's not burning you. But the minute that you go out, the minute that's too long and you stay out in the sunshine too long, then you burn, then you have an issue, right? When you burn, now you have to take time out of the sun. You can't go in the sun anymore. You might peel. You kind of regress. Exercise and force tolerance is very similar to this. So training just outside of where your current tolerance is can help you recover better and quickly and efficiently, and then you can move on, and adjust your program accordingly. This is, you also want to take this into account of not just on the day. So like today, can I recover from today's workout? Can I recover from this week's accumulative volume? Because as I've said before, your nervous system, your central nervous system is like the amplifier and your muscles are like the speakers. So if the amplifier is not working, the speakers are not going to get as loud, right? If you're following me here. And so you want to make sure that the nervous system is not being overtaxed as well. There's a time and a place to do that, right? We obviously want to excite the nervous system when we are working out and exercising, but we don't want to just trash it. So if we're looking at overall weekly volume, right? So if you're doing 5 or 6 workouts a week, you might want to have a little bit lower intensity during each workout, as opposed to somebody who maybe only has 2 days a week to work out. Then that person should really grind it pretty hard because they can send a louder signal, right? Because their nervous system will recover from back-to-back days. As I've said before, you might hit a different muscle tomorrow. Maybe today you do legs, tomorrow you do upper body. The nervous system fatigue, the thing that helps you contract muscles, is still going to be getting hit day after day, all right, on both those workouts. So that is something to note, and so that can affect your recovery. And then the last thing that you can do to help your recovery out with exercise is just light cardio to help circulation. So light cardio is getting those steps in. We've talked about it before. Getting those steps in, jumping on the bike, doing something that's light, gets the body moving, that's kind of gets the joints moving, that's not overly taxing on the nervous system. I'm not saying go run sprints. That's good for exercise. We're talking about exercise for recovery right now. So for recovery, we want something that's low intensity in nature, and that is important. So the top 3 things that I would say, if you're going to write something down right now to focus on when it comes to recovery, is going to be sleep, stress management. So that's psychological and physiological. Okay, that's a big window. There's many assignments on that at the School of S.H.R.E.D Online Health Academy that try to help you manage your stress. Both psychological and physiological, they go together. If you're physiologically stressed, you're going to be very tired. You're going to be irritable. So it turns into psychological stress. If you're psychologically stressed, say from work or whatever's going on inside of your life, that can cause the physiological stress, because when we're psychologically stressed, then that's going to up, like I said, these hormones like cortisol, which is going to send a stress response to our body, and that can stop our body from functioning properly. So stress management's a big one, and then nutrition. So sleep, stress management, nutrition, those are like the key attack points on recovery. So that's it. That's episode 130 of the School of S.H.R.E.D. I hope you learned something today. Go ahead and ask your questions that you have. We'll be here on Friday for the Q&A. I'll see you guys tomorrow. With that, I want you to stay strong and healthy in body, stay relentless and energized in spirit, and stay determined in your pursuits. That spells S.H.R.E.D. Now go shred the day and get better in every way. Until next time, we'll see you tomorrow. Class is dismissed.